How many times has God showed you something in your imagination, and then you took it in there to your family and your friends, and you shared it with them, and they shot it down? Stop telling your visions to other people, because they're not going to see it. Why you keep imagining graduating, getting a better job? Why do you keep imagining buying a house? Why do you keep imagining getting rich one day? Why do you keep imagining that? Because God is talking to you. He created you, and then he even showed you what he got for you. You got to start believing in your imagination. Faith without works is dead. So now you got to put in work. Haven't you imagined a better life? But if you don't work, if you don't ask him for it, he cannot give it to you, because he created us with the power of choice. If you decide that you will be poor, there's nothing I can do. You're gonna be poor. If you decide to be rich today, who gonna stop you? If you decide you want to be rich, all you gotta do is start. Who gonna stop you? Unless you tell it to the wrong person. Mama, I'm going to be rich. Anybody rich in this family? Go in there and sit down somewhere. Get yourself a good job. Mama could be wrong, because what you have in your imagination, God didn't show it to your mama. I'm sorry. Listen to me. If y'all don't do nothing else, write everything you imagine down, pray about it, and watch what happens. You have no idea what I've done. You have no idea what I've been through. But God is in the forgiving business. God is in the turn it around business. God did all that for me. So I'm telling you right now, if God can fix Steve Harvey, I bet he can turn you into that.
Don't worry about your circumstances. Don't worry about your age. I have a friend who's up in age, over 70, and she wanted to build a multi-million-dollar complex. Lenders and bankers say, you can't do that, you're too old. She ignored them. That building now stands, ladies and gentlemen, a multi-million-dollar structure. But there are a lot of people who would have listened to that, because they've already said no to themselves. See, it's time now. If you want to make this your decade, you've got to start saying yes to your life, yes to your potential.
Everybody says to me, hey, Inky, do you want to go to college? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to college. They said, nobody goes to college from Crim. They asked me the question so much, I started to ignore it until one day I'm in a car with my mother, and we're a stoplight away from Crim, and my mother turns and looks at me and says, son, do you want to go to college? I say, yes, ma'am, I'm going to college. She said, Inky, the chances of that happening, slim to none. Like, I'm not trying to crush your dreams, but I can't play with your future. It just doesn't happen. I said, just give me a shot. The first day I get to the school, I see why everybody said what they said. There was a cop at every single door and metal detectors. And I'm still hyped. My man starts searching me. His exact words were, what's your plan, little man? I said, oh man, I'm going D1, I'm going to college. He says to me, you'll probably go to cell block D1. He said, you had two uncles coming to the same place, great little ball players. He said, aren't they serving 13 and 40 years at the federal penitentiary, not even 10 minutes away from these front doors? I said, yep. He said, exactly. Apple don't fall far from the tree. And when I got my scholarship from Tennessee and got back to Crim High School, the first person I went to see was that cop in that lunchroom. He said, how did you do it? He said, the reason I said it to you, he said, don't get it twisted. You thought I was trying to break you. I wasn't. He said, I've seen so many kids step up to me and say the same thing, and they end up dropping out their freshman year. And so I wanted to challenge you to see, would you retreat or would you step up to me and fight for the thing that you said you wanted? I'm intrigued in life how when a person say they want something and the only thing it takes is for the circumstance to change. I'm intrigued by that. Right? How a circumstance can take that away. In life, people don't burn out because of what they do. People burn out because life makes them forget why they do it. When it's about something greater than themselves, the opposition, the adversity, and the challenges are a part of the journey. That's why it's so easy to spot people that's just out for their personal gain, because all it takes is for something not to go the way that they thought it was going to go, and now they no longer want it. And so when I got to Tennessee, it was Mayberry for me. And I come into my junior year, and I'm about to get exactly what I want. About to get this thing called NFL. This thing that I've been working for. Like everything revolved around this game, and I finally get in a position in my life to where now I'm 10 games away from it. NFL on top of the paper. Inky Johnson projected top 30, automatic multi-millionaire. Just play the next 10 football games, Ink, you made it. And I go out in a silly game against Air Force, and I go to make a tackle, and when I hit him, every breath in my body left. I fall to the ground, I blacked out. When my eyes open, guys run over, Ink, let's rock, man, let's go, let's finish him off. And I'm like, I can't. They said, what do you mean you can't? I said, I can't move. I said, I can't feel anything. Doctor says to me as he's walking beside me, I don't know how you're still alive, son, you don't have any pulse. I'm sitting there and people coming into my room like, Inky, man, I'm sorry about what happened to you. Like, man, that's really the only thing you wanted, huh? Like, the only thing you really wanted was the NFL, that's it. I'm like, man, you limited God to that? Like, life holds no substance, no value? And now the thing I placed my identity in, now it's gone. That's why I laugh at people when they say, man, if I could just get this, I'll be. Man, if I could just get this amount of money, I'll be. I'm like, ooh. What happens when God says yes and no? Like, do you have the ability to accept what you don't understand? Can you handle when things get off course? I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, like, man, I'm 8 games away. Like, let me get the contract, then redirect me so I can help my family. And God's like, no, son, I need you to really go that way. And I'm like, you sure? Like, I need to go this way. He's like, no, I need you to go this way. I got something greater for you. Now, it might take a little longer to manifest, but I got something even sweeter. I got something, son, that's going to carry you for the rest of your life. And I thought it was over after football got redirected. My life got redirected 2, 3 more times. Before I even fell into my purpose and my mission, I'm thinking I'm gonna be a coach. God's like, no, you ain't. I'm like, well, maybe I'm supposed to go back to Atlanta and work in my neighborhood at the rec center. I get to Atlanta, I call the guy, he don't answer the phone. The only thing I had at that moment was a prayer and a book. And the prayer that I prayed was, Lord, I don't know what you want me to do. But people keep coming to me, telling me, speak. Inky, you need to speak. And I'm like, I'm not speaking. People coming, Inky, you need to speak. I'm like, no, man. And God brought me to the point where I had nothing. And I was on my knees. I said, Lord, listen, I don't know if this is what you want me to do, but I submit and let's rock. And the next morning I woke up, I had my book I had written. And I got up and I looked at my wife. I said, I'm going to take this book to Oprah. She said, you know Oprah? I'm like, nope. You know anybody at Harpo Studio? I'm like, nope. She said, go for it. And so I got my book, I got my suit. It's hot. Every door that opened, I ran in it. I'm, hey, man, Inky Johnson, drove from Atlanta. They're like, get out of here. So after getting kicked out like 4 doors, I go to the back of the building. I sit down, I put my back on the building, look up to the sky, and I'm like, God, thought it was you. And I get up and I walk around the side of the building. I look down the sidewalk, and at this moment, there was nobody but Oprah and the security guard. She said, hey, that's a nice suit. I said, thank you. From Atlanta, I wanted to get you my book. So would you mind taking a picture? You take a picture, and I'm going to walk off, and her security says to me, hey, young man, come here. He said, what just happened never happens. So I leave, I start to put the picture on social media, send it to my friends, everybody's reaction. You gonna be on a book club? You gonna be on a show? I'm like, what just happened? Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And I'm like, God, are we moving like that? Don't know. Nobody on Oprah's staff and look at my wife and say, I'm going to meet Oprah. And God puts me face to face with Oprah and puts the book in her hand. I say, God, let's go. I live my life a certain type of way according to the power that I know the Lord possesses. I live my life a certain type. Like when I go to the Lord in prayer, I go bold. Like, and I know the initial reaction when we go through things is to say, man, why did this have to happen to me? And it's an honest reaction. And some of the things we go through, I'm gonna just be real, it's not a scripture for it. But this is what I've understood. In life, some people don't need you to preach a sermon, they need you to live one. The only thing I ask of you, as talented, as brilliant, as powerful, as beautiful as you are, never allow life to make you forget why you started in the first place.